everybody on YouTube. We're streaming on Twitch as well. We're going to be watching Questions for a Trans Guy by the Try Guys. I saw that, this is hopefully not as terrible as all the other trans stuff on the internet. And so maybe BuzzFeed has done something good, which sounds impossible, but okay, we'll get to it.
You used to have boobs.
Yes.
Now you don't.
Yep.
What was that like?
Awesome.
What a way to start.
Hi, I'm Ash, and I'm a trans guy.
And I'm Keith, and I'm not a trans guy.
Bro is...
But I do have questions, and I think a lot of people have.
Bro is like transitioned right here,
Questions. So I'm gonna ask
I don't
you
know if you know what that
questions
means,
I think
but
a lot of
like
people have.
he's
Let's do
doing
it.
well.
All right.
Good for him.
Specifically for you, is it weird watching your old BuzzFeed videos?
Yes and no. I mean, it's weird in the same way that I think for everyone, it's weird to look back at ourselves being young. I was a different gender, so that is weird. But
I prefer when people say like I was living as a different gender, because you were not a different gender in the past. That's like a thing that as trans people, we got to start saying that. Like, it's important for cis people's understanding, because they don't give a fuck. I'll edit that out. They don't care, and they won't understand. So if you're gonna explain something, you probably should explain it right.
weirder thing is that I can see now how uncomfortable I was, and it was discomfort that I thought that I would grow out of, that I thought was just growing pains of youth. I just can see now that the awkwardness was like, oh, I'm just not comfortable in my body.
Don't be afraid to touch yourself. It's your body.
I don't like my body, okay.
Yeah, every.
See that? Did we see that? I don't like my body. Very trans. We can go back, and it's kind of nice that Ash has like mad, like BuzzFeed content. Never would I in this world think I would be saying thank you for the BuzzFeed content, but we can go back and see instances on video of dysphoria, which is useful for a video like this that hopefully isn't just more hate fuel for trans people.
The video you made was like awkward things that I am.
Awkward, literally.
As a trans person, how do you know that?
How do I know I'm trans? It took a while. I came out as bisexual first at 23, and I didn't come out as trans until like 31. And yet looking back, I used to have dreams all the time about being a little boy.
Which is very normal for women, young women, girls. Of course, having dreams of being a boy, dreaming of that.
Trans was honestly so
Very cisgender of you.
far out of what my vocabulary even was that I just thought those dreams were about being gay.
I didn't have the language to describe my transness.
And that's also, I think, what's so confusing is that gender and sexuality are different, but we're kind of taught that they're conflated. I wouldn't say I knew how to put into words that I was trans until I decided to transition, which was when I was 31. Gender dysphoria is feeling different than how you feel on the inside, so your body feels wrong. And it was actually harder.
Look at bro right here.
Different than how you feel on the inside, so your body.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Where are my glasses? Look at, what's this guy's name? Keith or something? I just think he looks really silly here. Huh. Yeah, fascinating.
It feels wrong. And it was actually harder for me to understand until I understood gender euphoria. Because I had felt
And it does
so
it again!
awkward in my body for so long, I just thought that's how people felt. Then,
Yeah.
once I...
Yo, okay, I do have to say Ash is doing a pretty GD good job of explaining this. Like, I mean, for 2 minutes in, he's done pretty GD well.
started transitioning,
pretty
and
cool.
I started to feel like my...
Yo, he's already got the fucking top surgery. Let's go, King.
and feel the euphoria of not having breasts, of feeling like a man.
Hit that shit!
I can now recognize, oh my god, the rest of what I was feeling was gender
Clean cut.
dysphoria.
Are you gonna get bottom surgery?
This
Where's questions? Because I'm sitting there, I'm like, hey, don't that. Whoa, why are you asking me that? I'm so fucking. TikTok has ruined my brain.
I think the number one thing everyone is curious about, of course, is genitals. But I will say, Unless you're friends with someone, we are friends. We've known each other for a long time. Don't ask someone about their genitals. It's a weird thing to go straight into a conversation to someone, even if it was a cis man or cis woman, and be like, are you gonna get bigger breasts? You know, but part of the reason we're doing this video, and I want you guys to know before you crucify Keith.
It's on the paper.
Yeah, this was
I was handed the paper.
It's okay, Keith. I'm not too mad at you. I'm not mad at you, Keith. I'm not mad at all. Keith, you're doing great. You're doing great, buddy. You're doing great, Keith. We love it. We love it, Keith. We love Keith.
This was a video that we came up with because there are so many questions that people ask.
How many views does this have? Hold on. 500,000. 500,000 people. Let's say 300K watch the whole thing. Let's say 5% of that is trans people. So a math number of people, a large number of people have seen some good information about trans people, which is good. I never thought I would be saying this in my life, but thank you, BuzzFeed.
Particularly as a trans guy in the media, wants to offer this stuff partially to help alleviate other normal trans people having to answer these questions in their daily life. I personally don't know if I'm gonna get bottom surgery. I think I would if the technology was better. For trans women, it's remarkable what they can do surgically.
Let's go, bitch!
I went to an all-male trans camp where one of the things that they have as a resource is called Cock Talk, where guys who have had bottom surgery just talk about it. Some guys don't get...
I'm not gonna lie, that's fucking hilarious because men, all men, love talking about their fucking meat. I don't know what it is. Men are just, bound to be like, yo, fucking, bro, I was my fucking package. So the fact that there's a structured version of it at some trans institution or whatever that's pretty funny and cool. And honestly, good for them. Gender affirming that they get to sit and talk about yo, my shit's fucking, I got that. I went for the deluxe package. I got the baby arm. I went to my surgeon and I said, make it horse sized.
Balls, but have a penis, and some guys want both. It's very funny when you think about it that way, of what makes people feel in their bodies. So for me, at this point, I wouldn't get the surgery just because it seems too difficult.
Medically, it's easier to build to make a hole than it is to build a pole. That's the inside baseball. That's the language going around the trans community. That's how it is.
Transitioned.
I did.
What sucks about transitioning?
What sucks about transitioning is literally this right here. This pimple that I have is ginormous. It's just everything that sucks about puberty. I found shoulder hairs the other day. I didn't want that.
You have the individual ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are they there?
I don't know.
Butt hair?
Yeah.
All you want is a beard. All you get is butt hair.
Yeah, it's all or nothing.
Yeah, you gotta
Yo, I don't like Keith sunning him on puberty. I think that's kind of fucky.
be a man.
Not bad, just funny. I did that shit way back when. Fuck you, Keith.
Or not.
You took testosterone to transition.
Yeah.
Why can't you just dress like a guy?
The best way I can put it is I don't want to be a butch woman. I want to be a frilly man. As soon as my body started feeling like a man's body, I actually started embracing my femininity a lot more. And now I'm like, oh, maybe I'm gonna start wearing jewelry again, or should I start painting my nails? So I actually can express my female side more now that I'm a man, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the language of female side there, but I am nitpicking.
What? Okay, you used to have boobs.
Yes.
Now you don't.
Yep.
What was that like?
Awesome. I did something that's kind of rare. I wasn't on hormone therapy before I did that. I just got my boobs chopped off. And it's because, honestly, the second I had breasts is when my real dysphoria began. And so for me, from the second I had boobs, I wanted them gone. So not having boobs
you're
is
telling me.
awesome.
No, for real. This is pretty nice.
Everybody uses pronouns now.
Yeah.
Why should I use pronouns if I'm not trans?
Everybody has This is a bad question. Everybody has pronouns linguistically. We just make assumptions on pronouns based on presentation. And so you assume somebody's pronouns based on how they look, but if somebody looks kind of gendery, I mean, also, they don't know about this, but pronouns are a clock. If somebody asks you your pronouns, just what are you like, she, her, she, they sort of situation, that's a clock.
Well, because everyone has pronouns, like a plant has pronouns. Pronouns are just replacing a noun, so people don't have to use your name all of the time. But the reason that cis people should put their pronouns in their bio is so that trans people don't have to be the only ones. And this is particularly important for non-binary people who use they, them pronouns. So it's really just a way to like alleviate that awkward social stuff for other people. Like using your pronouns as a cis person, point blank, is like one of the easiest ways you can be an ally to queer people, period.
Yeah.
And also it's just like...
And it doesn't have to be awkward. I can be like, yeah, Sloane, she, her, like when I introduce myself to people at parties and stuff and they're kind of looking at me like, well, not like that or whatever, but they're looking at me like, oh yeah, Sloane, she, her, I'm a trans woman. You know, it doesn't have to be weird, but they want to frame it that trans people are these fucking scary, fucking whatever. Ooh.
Take the guesswork out of it.
We're gonna move into dating. What's dating like as a trans person?
Dating as a trans person is scary because of safety. I felt like I would have to awkwardly
Safety, bro. You're dating women. Let's be so for real.
figure out when to disclose, how to disclose, and some people were like, cool, and then you could tell some people were like, cool, but it wasn't cool.
Yeah, when the times that you disclosed that and they weren't so hot on it,
Yeah.
what was that experience like?
They would start treating me more female or like less sexually. I would feel like kind of put to the side. But again, you know, I don't know, because at any point in dating, you might sour on someone for some reason or another. So I can't be positive that it was because of that.
You also could have told them you like Pokemon cards.
Exactly.
And then they could have been like, no.
There's a lot of other reasons to not like me besides being trans. I'm a loser in many ways.
Is sex weird?
Is sex weird as a trans person or just in
I guess,
general?
is sex weird now?
No, sex is less weird now. Sex before literally was like, you know, it's intimacy of your body, and I just hated my body. My breasts were so prominent and in my way, whereas now, sex finally felt good and normal
I just had they were just so in my, it was just too, you know.
and not dysphoric.
Cool. Hell yeah. Are you straight now?
No is the answer, because I refuse to be.
But are you only attracted to one gender presentation now?
No, the real truth is, I would say before I was 90% attracted to women and like maybe 10% attracted to men. Since taking testosterone, I am so much more attracted to men in a way that I have never been in my whole life, and thank God, because I would hate to be straight. No offense to anyone who's straight.
Okay, my bad. I didn't realize bros on that pansexuality.
I get that. You had, I think, an easy way to do this, but how do other people do this? How do you pick your new name?
You know what I've actually thought, and this isn't the same, so dead naming is a thing that a lot of people don't understand or don't realize why it's so harmful. If someone has chosen their own given name, don't call them by their old name, or don't ask them what their name was before. Again, like amongst friends, or if you know, you can talk about it. For me, it doesn't really bother me if people call me Ashley. My whole family calls me Ashlita. My sibling is on a campaign to make everyone call me Ashlito, which I don't want. But my sibling thinks is very funny.
What, if anything, do you miss about being a girl?
What I miss about being a girl is
Living the life of a girl. Language. Let's make the language, you know, I'm nitpicking, but living the life of a girl, a woman.
sisterhood and the way that women take care of each other. I can't ever imagine making friends with a stranger in the bathroom.
Yeah, we do not.
You don't talk at all.
No. I just do what I did as a child, and I pick a point on the wall and I stare at it.
Okay, here's a question I have for you.
Yeah.
If two men enter a bathroom together, do you ever talk to each other while you're peeing?
If you're friends,
Yeah.
yes. But what is more unlikely is two toilets.
Yeah.
You probably don't talk to each other while pooping.
With women, you don't know what someone's gonna do in there. I don't know, maybe you do a quick poo, no one will ever know.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, so does everyone just think I poop all the time?
This is kind of just really
But
awkward.
I'm not pooping in there.
You don't poop?
once you're trans, you don't poop. That's the one benefit. Huge. Yeah, huge.
I have a lot more questions now.
Yeah.
That would be so convenient.
Are there moments where you still feel like a woman?
Yes, when I'm chatting with people, like Uber drivers, I still chat like I'm a woman, and sometimes they either think I'm flirting with them, or if it's another dude, they're like, why are you being so friendly? Like,
Yeah, I think from my perspective, you're still thoughtful like a woman.
yeah.
Like you brought me a birthday present.
Yeah, that's one of the things we could tie to like socialization. You can make the argument there that that's about socialization.
Nobody brought me a birthday present.
Yes, yes.
I was like, oh, a birthday present. Hell yeah, dude. I've never gotten a present from my guy friends.
But again, I think it's important to distinguish. I feel socially like a woman, but I never feel like, oh, I want to be a woman again.
Right. Is it easier to come out?
I think quickly, a better way to say that, and I want to talk kind of fast because I'm pausing a lot, but a better way to say that is that he doesn't feel like a woman. He falls into womanly patterns, or sort of, it's hard to get rid of old habits. Old habits die hard, right? I think that's a better way to frame that, you know?
A second time?
No, it was harder. I was in a relationship. It affected that relationship. And it also felt superfluous of like, oh, are you serious? Like, I have to do this again.
Did it make you feel like, I was wrong the first time?
It was more just like an added sense of socially having to do the whole song and dance again and explain to people. So for me, it was harder to come out the second time and way more annoying.
Was there a moment where you're like, oh, yeah, you know what? I'm a dude.
Actually, when my dad died is really when I felt the freedom to explore my gender, sadly because I was so tied to being daddy's girl. My dad accepted my sibling as being trans, and I think my dad would have accepted me too, but I wasn't ready to be perceived that way by my dad. So,
It's tough.
yes, I've been trans since forever, and I think I was just hiding that. But in another way, I didn't really know until after my dad died, which was when I was 31.
What are you jealous of from, I guess, other people's boyhood?
I mean, I'm really jealous that I didn't get a boyhood. My childhood, my adolescence, my
It's kind of
adulthood
fucked up thing to ask.
feels like they were all tainted or robbed in this way that was
Yeah.
like not who I would have been naturally. I always wanted to do karate. I wanted to do fencing. I wanted to do these physical
Yo,
things
did they-
that I
hold
wasn't
on.
allowed to do.
Did they update the Try Guys so that the newest Try Guy is Ash? Because that's lit. That's cool.
Like, I hated summer for all of my adult life, and I realize now it's because I hated being in a bathing suit. And now that I'm a man, I love summer. And it's like, that is crazy.
When you transitioned, were you scared to commit to a new you?
Yeah, this is gonna sound funny, but partially because I was just like, am I gonna be ugly? Like, am I gonna be an ugly dude? I didn't know if I would like having short hair. I didn't understand what my face was gonna look like. And there were a lot of things that I was afraid of too, like you don't have to have bottom surgery, but if you take tea, you have bottom growth, like your clitoris gets bigger. And there were some changes that I didn't know if I wanted those to happen.
I imagine a lot of people wonder
Yeah,
if you also have this thought of like, what if I'm wrong for some reason?
yeah, that was something I was really worried about. What if I'm wrong about this, and what if I go through all of this and put everyone through it, and I'm actually wrong, and I am a girl? What is that going to do for the trans community? What is that going to do for my own sense of self? I have met people who are trans who have detransitioned, but
They are not trans. Then that is a cis person who transitions. That is not a transsexual. That is a cissexual who transitioned and took hormone replacement therapy to change the levels of testosterone or estrogen. Right? Right? Can we? Sorry, I know I'm nitpicky, but
I think we think of detransitioning as a right or wrong. A lot of times, what people actually need the freedom to do is to explore and land somewhere along the way. I think a lot of people feel that they can't explore one side of themselves because of the gender they were assigned at their birth. You can explore and change your mind and your gender presentation. It can change day by day. It's not something that you have to know. There isn't really a right or a wrong. I would say to save yourself some pain, you don't have to tell the world all the time exactly where you're at, which I think we've gotten used to with social media.
I will say, that's trans misogyny. He didn't do anything wrong, but that's trans guy privilege in that trans men, if going from being perceived as women to being perceived as men, they're going up in privilege, whereas trans women are stripping that privilege away, or having that privilege stripped away, right? So with trans men, you're not heavily policed by society on what you're wearing. Whereas trans women, the answer to this question is slightly different.
It was probably 6 months where I was experimenting with my gender transition, where I didn't tell anyone except for people I was interacting with in real life.
Because if a guy goes to a party wearing a skirt, that's gonna draw that's gonna cause some chaos, fiasco.
You know, given our government,
Everything
or just
fears in the
country
political
right now.
climate.
Yeah,
What's your top fear?
Dying. Honestly, my top fear is that the fascism goes all the way, and the same thing that happened in Nazi Germany will happen, where we get rounded up in camps and taken away. My other fear is just that a lot of trans people are gonna die indirectly because of feeling like they shouldn't be here. Trans people are much more susceptible to suicidal thoughts, and it just makes me sad that...
But even phrasing it like that is a bit of an issue for me, because we're not more susceptible to suicide. There's nothing about trans people or being trans that makes you more susceptible to that. What it is that society is shittier to you. That's the picture. Get it?
There are people who might not come out because of this
They
for
put
a lot
trans
longer
lifeline on.
and
That's
be
cool.
living in your own prison because things are so shitty out here right now.
What are your small fears?
I'm afraid that someone will be mean to me or rude. Somebody's gonna see my top surgery scars in the men's locker room and chase me out of there.
Why do you think conservatives are so obsessed with trans people?
I think a lot of conservatives are obsessed with trans people
Don't.
because they're trans. Or because...
Fuck! I literally said don't. Y'all saw that? I literally said don't, because what it is that's a media narrative. We're gonna do some media analysis here for 2 seconds. That is a narrative, a homophobic narrative that transfers into being a transphobic narrative about queer people. That the people who are hateful to queer people are closeted queer people. The media portrays this. A lot of media. The one that comes to mind is Glee, right? In Glee, the bully who bullies Kurt is a closeted gay dude, right? Now, the reason the media does this is it puts the blame of homophobia back on a queer person. I'll say it again. It puts the blame of homophobia back on a queer person. Now, are some people who are homophobic, transphobic, queerphobic closeted? Yeah, sure. But the truth is that most people are just hateful. They're just hateful. And it's not because they're secretly out of it, whatever. No, they're just hateful. Let's see if Ash talks about it. Let's see if he talks. Oh my God, Sloane, come on.
Because they are
In some way locked away.
They are upset at the ways that gender has locked them up, and
No,
they wish that they could be free.
bro.
I actually think it's as simple as that.
What
No.
that gives you
No.
courage to be
You're falling for the media narratives.
doing this?
It's not really
This is what I'm here
doing
for.
this stuff to be part of a movement. I'd rather play Pokemon at home,
Why are you so obsessed
But
with Pokemon?
the thing that allows me to do this is the support that I have from you guys, because this could not be made on traditional media right now, because traditional media is so beholden to advertisers, politics, the way that the world is going. But I don't think I'm particularly brave or anything like that.
What are some of the resources for trans youth, and how might someone watching this find more
Yes.
actionable help?
Look to your personal friends, family, local groups. There's Discord groups. There's a Second Try Discord. I actually challenge you
Discord
to find a
is
straight
huge.
person.
If you're trans, go on
the
Discord.
Second Try Discord. There's other things like the Trevor Project, Trevor Hotline. You can call and talk to other queer people. There's this camp called Camp Lost Boys. Rocco, who's on this season of New Guy Tries, has made this amazing summer camp for
Okay, we're done with this. This is enough of the video. If you enjoyed the video, thank you so much. That's basically everything in here. I think it's kind of nice to have a video, at least one video in a sea of thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even, that is at least a little bit positive towards trans people. That's pretty good. I'll give it like an 8 out of 10 in terms of trans allieness on the video, but there are some things that I still have issue with. Of course I do, because I'm going to nitpick this thing to death. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, the usual like, subscribe, favorite, send me a pizza, whatever. Love you. Take care.